Hi, I'm Ghada Gigi Benitez, a certified international property specialist and a licensed realtor, connecting global real estate investors with the dynamic opportunities in Dubai real estate. And today, on my first episode of season 5 of the Dubai Connect podcast, we are flipping the script and doing things differently. I'm actually going to be introduced and interviewed by one of my favorite guests that I've had, Mr. Tariq Jarrar. He is the executive director of DevMark, so stay tuned.
Hi, Ghada. How you doing today?
Hi, Tariq. I'm doing well.
I am so excited because this gives me the opportunity to be on the other side of the table, and I've got a lot of questions for you. Okay, so you know what? I was thinking about it the other day. We had a conversation, and we were talking about what sets you apart. Being a broker, you know, the way you do things, how professional you are. And I thought, you know what? I think people should know about it. And I wanted to start by asking you, if you would say the three unique aspects of you, of what you offer as services to the potential client, what would it be?
Thank you for asking, and Thank you for the idea, because my family and friends are going to think this was my idea. It was yours, but I love it. I believe one of the differentiators is that I am a certified international property specialist, which from the states will understand, it's the only internationally recognized designation by the National Association of Realtors. So I've secured additional education, taken additional classes, and not only on book and taken the test, but actually have immersed myself by living in Dubai and the United States and Spain and immersing myself in the real estate world, because clearly the way that you do business here in Dubai is very different than how we do business in California, but also the buyer profile and the way they receive information is very different. So I believe that having that designation sets me apart in that I'm able to understand different profiles while understanding how to conduct business in Dubai, Spain, and California.
Okay, I'm just gonna just because I heard something that I love.
Yes.
Which is when you say immerse yourself, right? Now I know that from experience.
Okay.
I'll come to you and I'll say, oh, by the way, I got this project I'm so excited about, and you'll just tell me, okay, tell me about it. And you'll take your time to study the project and understand, and then come back with a lot of questions. That's something that I do not come across a lot with other brokers. And God bless them, doing a great job, but not in that depth and details. Why do you think it is important for your potential clients, for clients that whether they're going to invest, whether they're going to live in that property, that you immerse yourself into the project and understand it?
Well, thank you. And yeah, you have been on the receiving end, because we have so many conversations about what DevMark is promoting, from the W to the new one we're going to talk about the next episode. I'm doing something different. So with the Dubai Connect, I am helping get Americans on the board with what's happening in Dubai. So these have been people that maybe have been sitting back, they've been hearing about what's happening in Dubai, but because they're not here and it's across the world, they weren't the top 10 buyers. And even though I cater to global investors because I am American based, it's really, I saw the opportunity of why are Americans missing out? Let me educate them. Let me share with them what's happening in Dubai. But one of the most important, after I teach them the process of A to Z of how to buy, one of the most important decisions they can make is who to invest with. Because as you and I have discussed, not all developers are made equally. And my name is on this, right? Gigi Benitez International is now a recognized brand. I have billboards in the United States. I don't know if you saw, I met the Sheikh, by the way.
Right.
Did you see that I got to show my billboard?
Yes, of course I did. Of course.
I mean, I just have to tell you this, like the pinnacle of my personal career. So about 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago, I came to Dubai. It was 2 years ago after my first trip, and I decided I want to do real estate. And I attended the International Property Show. And I sat in the audience and I was watching the speakers on stage, and I said, I'm going to be on that stage next year. And I remember His Excellence Marwan bin Galiti, he was speaking, and I approached him right afterwards. And I said, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. And he said, okay. I was very bold, and we took a photo together. The next year, I was invited to speak on stage. So that was last year. And I saw His Excellence Marwan walking around, and I went up to him and I showed him my fancy brochures that I had been, because I do seminars and webinars all throughout the United States. So I said, you probably don't remember me, but last year I introduced myself. He said, yes, I remember. I don't think he did, but it's okay. And I showed him my brochures, and I have a photo of him giggling and looking at the brochures. And then I said, I'm going to get the DLD on my podcast this time. And I did. And then last Friday, my husband came for the first time to check out Dubai with me. And we're walking around and we see His Highness walking around with his entourage. And I said to my husband, that's His Highness. And he said, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. My husband's American mentality is there's no way that the sheikh, the leader of Dubai, would be walking around with just 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Because we're in the United States would that happen? We're actually in one
anywhere
country.
In the world. Yeah,
there's
it won't
no
happen.
way.
Absolutely.
So my husband said, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. And we're going to follow him. Okay. So I see him walking up the escalator with his crew. And the security guard at the end, the last one, looks at me and he goes, like, don't come further. I don't take no for an answer. So I went up to that security guard and I said, no, let me introduce you. Let me tell you who I am. As if like I thought I was such a big deal, okay? But I don't know if you say it, sometimes people believe it. So he starts laughing. And he said, no. I said, please, look what I'm doing. I'm connecting. And I pull out the billboard and I have a reel on my Instagram that has the sheikh's voice saying, I want Dubai to be the #1 city in the world. I said, I'm telling Americans this. So he's like, look, just wait on the bottom of the escalator. He's going to walk down. So the sheikh starts coming down the bottom of the escalator and he's got his whole entourage with him. And I start to approach him and I'm thinking, I might get jumped right now and I might get arrested. But if I get arrested because I was just trying to tell the sheikh what I'm doing, I'm actually okay with that. I was okay with that risk, okay? So he starts walking off. I approach him and I said, may I show you something? And I have my mobile phone out and I had the reel that has his voice. But the video is of the billboard saying invest in Dubai that I have in San Diego. And I show it to him and he looks at me and goes, this is in America? And I said, yeah. Ana sewetua. My mom said, just speak to him in English. He's more educated than you are. But and he pat me on the back and the security guard and started laughing and they walked away. Wow. So I think that is just
when was that?
Friday.
Wow.
At the Atlantis.
What a story, huh?
Can you believe that?
Oh, I mean, that's amazing.
I am absolutely inspired by his vision for Dubai.
Of course. Yeah.
And that is when I talk about Dubai real estate, it's not just come and make money.
No.
It's about the vision that the sheikh has for Dubai on a whole. That inspiration and what I said about being a first generation Arab American and trying to create that bridge. And then to get to meet him, he's probably not going to remember it for a moment, but for me, I will never forget that moment. Wow. And I hope it's just the beginning, inshallah. So,
that's amazing. That is amazing.
Thank you. So I have a name and a brand that I'm creating. I come from a PR background. I've had a public relation firm for 17 years. So I am not going to present a project that my partner Ahmed and I don't fully support and get behind, whether it's understanding with the DLD if they have a strong financial backing, making sure that they have timely delivery, give or take. We know that there's always a little bit of a cushion, knowing if they have a brand awareness. So when it comes time to resell that project or rent it out, is that a good decision? And that is so important to me before I advise any client. So sitting down and understanding who's the developer, what's the location, what is the price per square foot, what's the layout like, what is the quality, what's your reputation for delivery. It's one of the most important decisions that they can make. And I'm not trying to sell and run. Mm-hmm. I'm guiding my investors for the long haul. I had 2 clients that purchased 3 properties in Dubai, sight unseen, never came to Dubai. They came 2 days ago and I finally got to show them on a little road trip not only what they bought, but I'm guiding them with the financial concierge to secure the golden visa, with a mortgage broker to secure financing, with the property manager to manage the property for their rentals, and helping them time the sale of the project when it's time to do that for capital appreciation. So it's a long-term partnership, and I'm going to be there in a few years when they're ready to sell or rent it out. I don't want them mad at me.
Well, listen, this is great, and honestly, I mean, I've been in the market since 2004. And, I've seen a lot of brokers come and go. And, now you've got a lot. I think the numbers are estimated around 100,000. I'm not sure, but
not all registered, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, that's another story altogether, right? But you know what? I mean, listening to the services that you get to offer, and especially when you talk about the long run, and educating them. I mean, I haven't heard that. I don't see a lot of people do that. Don't see, a lot of brokers doing that. I know for a fact that this podcast, you've invested a lot of time and money, okay? And I've seen a lot of the episodes. They're educating people. So you're definitely adding a lot and informing the potential clients. But that investment shows that you're there for the long run. You're not just, like you said, you're not going to hit and run. And what we see a lot of cases, unfortunately, is that once the commission is collected by the brokers, and I'm not saying all of them, but the majority, the client is then coming back to us and saying, oh, you know what, I was told this and this is not true. And we try to go back to the broker to understand what happened. And unfortunately, they're not there.
Tariq, for me, there's a bigger mission for me that I think also goes into this. First of all, I come from pharmaceutical sales background, which was several years. I was a sales trainer. I come from having my own PR firm, starting my own company. I have a beauty brand. So I'm an entrepreneur. That's the business side of me. The personal side of me is that as a first-generation Arab American who only myself discovered Dubai about 2.5 years ago, I want to create a bridge between America and Dubai, and real estate is just my vehicle. So my purpose isn't, which, of course my clients want to make a lot of money, but me personally, it's not just about business and finances, but there's such a personal gratification of having people discover what Dubai offers lifestyle-wise, safety-wise, business-wise, and real estate is one part of it, and that's what I know how to do and create that opportunity. But when I have clients that come here from America and they say, oh my goodness, we had no idea, that's my sense of fulfillment.
That's great. That's fantastic. I've got a lot of questions. But,
that's great.
Yeah. Okay. We go back to in terms of the way you interact with your clients. Okay. So let's say I'm a client. I'm overseas. Let's not concentrate on the States. Okay. I see your great podcast and I'll get in touch with you. Okay. So how do I get in touch with you? What is the best way to get to you, and how can you help me in return?
Absolutely. So WhatsApp, right? I mean WhatsApp in the Middle East. By the way, I don't know if you know this, like in America, we don't do WhatsApp.
Oh, you don't?
No,
I didn't know
that's not a thing. But now, of course, just get in touch with me on my WhatsApp. I'm very active on my Instagram on Gigi Benitez International, and I share daily behind the scenes of what I'm doing, going from developer's office to developer's office, meeting with, fine developers and fine agents and fine companies such as DevMark and yourself. And so I share that on my Instagram to give a behind the scene look, so they can reach out to me on my Instagram. But the most easiest ways to reach out to me on my WhatsApp, and I have that information on my podcast. I also have a website, Gigi Benitez International. And on the website, I'll go through top areas, top developers, the list of how to purchase, a lot of facts and questions that are commonly asked. And I try to really put out as much information because the real estate market is so busy. What I'm trying to do is get ahead, share as much knowledge as I can. So by the time somebody comes to me, I've answered most of the questions. Can you buy as a foreigner? Yes, freehold properties. What is the average price per square foot? I share that info. What are the top up and coming areas? I'm constantly updating my podcast with the top and upcoming areas. Who are the top developers to trust? I'm constantly sharing that information. How to secure financing? I have Property Mortgage Finder on here. What is the market outlook? I have Property Finder on here. How safe is it? I have the DLD senior advisor, Dr. Mahmoud Albari, on here talking about the safety, or attorneys on here. And I try to send out so that someone can sit, do their homework, and then come to me to say, okay, we want to participate. We want in on what's happening, or we're moving here. And so we know that you're going to be in it for the long run. And then, we'll finalize that before, and then we'll get going with them and sit down with them and understand. The most important thing is to understand, for me, what are my clients' goals? What is their timeline? What is their price points that they want to invest in, and then walking through the entire process, and not just up until, but as I stated, well throughout.
Listen, this is fantastic. I got one last question.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And I think this is very, very, what I call it, it's a term that's very dear to me.
Okay.
And this is the customer journey.
Yes.
Right? So if you can just take me through the customer journey from the time someone gets in touch with you until the property is bought, and what happens after that.
Definitely. And by the way, for my Californians and Americans, this is very different than Dubai, right? In California, the customer journey is we take them and we show them properties, and they look at brochures, they go back and talk to the wife, and then bring the wife and the kids. No, that's not happening in Dubai. So the customer journey in Dubai is first to ask them, once they reach out to me, what do you know about Dubai's real estate? What brought you interest here? What created that interest? I really want to understand that customer. And then we talk about what are their goals, okay? So if they're looking to move here and if they want the golden visa, for example, then obviously then we have to hit a certain minimum. If they're going to live here, we need to know, are schools important to them? If they want waterfront property, no, they want, let's say, rental income from short-term Airbnb. Okay, there are certain areas. So it's really understanding that client, their goals, their needs, their timeline, their price points. From there, I confer with my team, which includes my partner on the ground here, Ahmed, who's been doing real estate for 20 years. So he brings forth that significant experience that no matter how much I've immersed myself, and I've spent months at a time here, leaving my family in San Diego, staying here and like as if I was doing college all over again. But I cannot catch up to 20 years of experience. Or 2004, I can't. So you and I have offline conversations. I'm gaining as much information, but there's no way I can catch up. So I confer with my team, including Ahmed. We sit down and we curate 3 to 5 options based on that client's needs, desires, timetable, and price point. And we know that one of the most important strategies to implement is if their launch is coming up, we have to submit what's called an EOI, an expression of interest, which just means that we're going to secure their position in the queue on the day of launch on a first come, first serve basis based on when we submitted that EOI. So then whether I'm in town or my partner Ahmed on the day of launch, we're there. You know, it's crazy on the day of launch, hustling to see if we are able to secure a unit at all or multiple, if there are multiple buyers. We let them know. God willing, they're happy, they're excited, we move forward. They then complete their deposit over the next 24 to 36 hours of that typical 20%. And then we work with them until they secure their SPA. Then I stay in touch until they secure their OCUD from the DLD. And then typically, okay, now Gigi, we need be connected with the financial concierge to start our golden visa, to open our bank account. And then if they come out here, because most of my clients have purchased, never coming.
Okay, I was gonna jump in and ask you that. I mean, can I do all of these things without having to get on a plane and come all the way down here?
They all do.
Wow. Okay.
They all do. Every single client that has purchased. Okay, sorry, all but one client that has purchased from me, every single one in November was my record-breaking month, have done it sight unseen overseas. Everything is easily done online. You know, you have to get them used to the idea, Americans, of submitting their passport via WhatsApp and sending that, because most Americans don't even have a passport.
That's true, yeah.
And, you know, dealing with sending that information over WhatsApp, but everything's done online. But the most exciting part, and I have a reel on my Instagram showing this, is if they choose to come, I make sure to coincide my trip to Dubai at that time so that I can be the one to see the look on their face and their eyes when they see. In fact, it was a DevMark project in the pier that I have another reel of. I had 2 clients, never been to Dubai, but they are global investors. They own property in Spain, Portugal. They're from the United States that own property in the US. So my last trip out here 6 weeks ago, I said, please, you guys need to come so I can show you Maritime City, so I can show you the plot of the pier residence. And I have to tell you, their initial intention thought was to purchase the property and then potentially hand it over, sell it before handover for capital appreciation. After they came, and Ahmed and I took them to your sales center to do this fancy little video and experience center of seeing what's coming up. And then we drove them to Maritime City to see the plot. and they got a lay of the land, they decided they're keeping that property. They're going to short-term Airbnb it, and they're going to be spending many weeks of time here in Dubai. And I know it sounds silly, but I get emotional about these things.
It doesn't. I mean, that's great because you invested a lot of time and effort, and and to see that, because again, that takes us back to the whole thing, the long run. You're here for the long run.
Exactly. I am. And so, and they're Americans, and that's what's so exciting, is that I had a surge of American investors, by the way, after the elections, and they're definitely picking up. Canadians, absolutely. I have UK, I have Singapore, I have from global, but there's a special thing about having Americans that probably would have thought Dubai, Middle East, Arab country, no way. And now not only are they investing, but they're wanting to be part of the life that Dubai offers.
That's great to hear.
So with that, I want to thank you. I know we have another episode we're going to do right now about a project that you have coming up.
Yep.
So please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and get ready for a very informative season 5 of the Dubai Connect podcast.